this is actually done in terms of providing data sets for training and testing, in terms of tools, and in terms of skilling material. In the meantime, you probably heard that the workshop is going to be recorded. So if you can decide yourself whether you want to switch on your camera or not there. So leave that up to you. So to continue on the AI4Culture project, so we actually provide this access, multilingual access, by providing descriptions of training tools interesting for training and testing, data sets interesting for this purpose in different technologies, and also upskilling material, which is then consists of tutorials where you can learn how to actually use tools and what data sets, how you can actually use the data sets for this. And in the project, we cover a variety of technologies. Basically, we have 4 specific technologies, which doesn't mean that the platform that we're building will not be useful also for other technologies. So the first technology is the one that we are dealing with here in the workshop, text recognition of printed or handwritten scanned documents. Another technology consists of creating and validating subtitles. So this also involves a certain amount of automation. Third technology is about semi-automatically creating rich metadata, for instance, by extracting and validating information on images, and also through semantic linking, for instance, related to named entities. And finally, the 4th technology is about automatically translating metadata of cultural heritage objects in catalogs. So this here gives a screenshot of the platform that has been very recently launched. So just a few days ago, and where you can see the 3 aspects I mentioned: tools, datasets, and upskilling material. I will be talking about this later on towards the end, more specifically towards the end of the workshop, to see what you have there already and what you could also contribute yourself. But this will then be done towards the end of the session. The project has 12 partners across Europe, so many countries are represented. Project is coordinated by the National Technical University of Athens. And there's various partners with different profiles. So there's cultural heritage organizations, there's technological partners with specific knowledge about AI tools. There's universities, there's companies, so it's quite varied. And then just to give a bit more background on how this text recognition, why we actually included it in the project, why we included recognition and also translation of transcripts, so both aspects, is there's quite a few reasons for that. So one of them is to make information from historical documents accessible. So basically to be able to read information, to make it accessible, to be able to process it, also to edit results manually. When you have this data, so additional data on historical documents, you can actually start searching for specific document content. You can also do that in multiple languages, so it is even more interesting than just in one language. And of course, we aim here also to have a very broad audience for these tools and these and how to use them. Also, what we here focus on in the project is the natural language processing. So basically, we can leverage the power of that kind of technology, and it involves specific tools like or specific methods and techniques like recognizing named entities like persons, organizations, and so on. Also to link information between sources, so you can have, for instance, a transcript and then link it to named entities that are present in Wikipedia. And of course, very important, you can save a lot of time by, for instance, by automating transcriptions, so that you have less to do manually, because we know, for instance, transcription is doing it fully manually is very it's time consuming. So you can actually also facilitate things through this technology. Now, how do we want to do this, or how are we actually doing this in the project? How do we try to implement these ideas? Basically, we are using advanced AI tools, and here in this specific workshop, we're talking then about optical character recognition and written text recognition in combination with information extraction, which is about extracting new metadata, and also in combination with machine translation, because obviously if you want to have the multilingual purpose, then you also need there to automate this. In terms of transcription, it's of course, I guess, many people, if you have a cultural heritage background, you know that you want to have high quality in terms of the kind of descriptions that you produce and transcriptions and so on. So the tools that we are using here are also meant to facilitate the creation of ground truth, so to manually correct automated transcriptions. And when you have this data, you can also train new models from this ground truth, which in turn will facilitate new transcriptions. So it's like a kind of cycle that you can apply. And of course, interesting, if you are working on creating ground truth, you would like to make it publicly or accessible, or even publicly accessible. So that's what you want to do here in the project, to make things accessible for citizens, for professionals in the cultural heritage, for researchers, and so on. And this can be both on Europeana EU, the catalog of Europeana, but also on your specific owner portal. So there's various possibilities there. Now we come to the what. Then it's really about how does this come to you, in which way? And here we talk about integration. So we have online portals where we want to add powerful functionalities for end users. And here, I think these are the main ones. So which is about manually correcting automated transcriptions, to provide rich descriptions, so to provide metadata to documents through these online portals, to translate the information, so you can actually make sure that the ground truth, for instance, that you produce could also be useful for people with other native languages. Of course, as I already mentioned, it's interesting to provide things publicly in online catalogs. And finally, we also look at, to a certain extent, towards research activities, which means that we have some more experimental features that we provide for people who want to experiment a bit. And basically, all this this information, this technology is present in a combination of two tools. On the one hand, Transcribathon, a platform where you can transcribe information, also do manual corrections, and on the other hand, the OCCAM technology, OCCAM tool, which contains a bit more research-oriented experimental features. So here's the agenda for today. So I've been talking about the AI4Culture project. It's on the top of the list here. Then we will have Frank Drauschke from Facts and Files will provide you with a walkthrough through the Transcribathon platform. Then Sergio Gordea from the Austrian Institute of Technology will provide you with a demonstration of the possibilities in Transcribathon on the platform, and also give you already something that you could do after the break. So there will be a break, and then after the break there will be these hands-on exercises that will be explained by Sergio beforehand. Then I will explain OCCAM to a certain extent, a walkthrough of OCCAM, and then finally I'm going to talk a bit about the AI4Culture platform, how it looks like and what you can do with it, how you might contribute to it, and so on. And then, of course, we will have the wrap-up. And maybe interesting to say here in terms of housekeeping rules, that normally, I mean, you can always ask questions through the chat. That's no problem. But if you want to ask questions orally, you could, of course, use the raise hand button and ask a question. But please do this only after a presentation, so not during the presentation, except for the hands-on exercises, where, of course, we would value interaction, a lot of interaction. So this just as a side note. And then before we move on to the Transcribathon walkthrough by Frank, we will ask you something. So as it says here, we would be delighted to know you better, so you participants. So you can go on your smartphone on to menti.com and then enter the pin code there, and then you will be able to enter some or answer some questions, and then we will move on with the. Yeah, then I'll leave the floor to Frank for his presentation. Yeah. So Frank, if you want to go to the menti.com.
Yes, I will do that. So you will see the code also in a minute. So don't worry if I switch now the screen. Also welcome everybody. There are already some answers coming in. I hope you can see my screen. This is the screen of menti.com. And you saw already the questions. Who are you? Where, from what field are you coming? And we see the first three categories are the main ones. Got 19 answers. Yeah. 20 of you answered. Maybe wait a few more seconds. It should be actually quite easy to find menti.com. Somebody else wants to join? Okay, some more coming. 25. Okay, so I guess it's quite interesting. So the majority is from cultural heritage institutions, but quite a lot of researchers and IT professionals. Thank you very much. I move to the next question. The next question, we want to know which countries are you coming from? You just can type in your the name of your country and it will pop up here. So we have many countries in Europe already. Belgium is coming up more often, Austria, Poland, but also outside of Europe, Iran, USA, Brazil, Pakistan. So we have a really wide geographical spread, I have to say. That's very nice. So that it's like a new crowd also coming to our presentations. Somebody else? So then I go to the next question. What are your expectations from taking part in this AI4Culture Transcribathon workshop? Yeah, if you could just type in one word or one sentence, what would you expect? Or what are you expect to learn? What are you interested in? Learn new tools. Yeah, this I hope we will definitely show you. Okay, to know the latest trends in NLP regarding ancient text. This we will see if we can go that far. Practical tips and tricks, inspiration for using in my organization, know-how, see how AI tools presented here can improve data quality and workflow, learn AI application in archives. Okay, see possibilities. Learn more about the analysis of historical documents. Hands-on, see progress. That's very interesting. Yeah, I guess some of this we will definitely cover. Yeah, and then I guess also in the discussion we can go dig deeper in some of these questions. And the last question here is, how experienced are you, or how familiar are you with the following technologies? Using manual transcription tools, using OCR tools, HDR tools, or what's your knowledge of using AI? Okay, AI, everybody's using ChatGPT, using HDR. Yeah, I guess 1 year ago, using OCR would have been the highest number, but now since ChatGPT exists, of course, AI is coming up as the first. But yeah, so there's quite some percentage who are used already manual transcription. That's good to know. Also, HDR is of course the more rare of the tool sets which are used. Okay, thank you very much. I think this helped us. We got now 27 answers. And I will switch to my presentation. Thank you very much. I hope you can see it. Yeah, my name is Frank Dorschke from Facts and Files in Berlin. We are a digital service company and historical research institute. We were the initiators of this Transcribathon platform, which was then later on developed in several EU projects with different partners, including the Austrian Institute of Technology and Europeana. And I want to give you an introduction into transcribathon.eu and yeah, what you can do with it. And then later on, we will do the hands-on. So it is a platform to enrich, to transcribe historical documents or documents from cultural heritage institutions which are digitized and coming via Europeana. So the Europeana as the European platform for cultural heritage institutions like libraries and archives and galleries and museums. The digitized material, the majority of the digitized materials available on Europeana. And what is on Europeana, we can also get onto the Transcribathon platform to enrich it in a citizen science mode. Just coming to the word Transcribathon, it's coming from transcription marathon, like it was also used before for hackathons. And Transcribathon in Europeana, Transcribe is an online crowdsourcing platform for the enrichment of European digital cultural heritage with transcriptions, annotations, geotagging, including now, as you will see later on, not only the manual transcription, but also handwriting, automatic handwritten text recognition and OCR. The materials which are on Transcribathon at the moment, about 400,000 objects. They come either from private collections, from crowdsourcing campaigns, which we did together with Europeana 1914-1918, Europeana 1989, and also from various cultural heritage institutions like archives, libraries, and museums. The goal is to really make them more accessible, make them enrich them, make them findable, searchable, computer searchable, so that everybody can use them. They're all free to use from the moment they're enriched. They can be found, and then they can be used for all kinds of research or other uses. Everything is in open source. yeah, again, this the platform, the front page of the platform. So at the moment we have about 400,000 documents online. 54 million characters were transcribed manually, mostly manually actually so far. 170,000 enrichments. You can see on the right the search function, which you can have like a normal searches, but you have also lots of facets to filter your search results, to find by location, by collection or language, or also by the type how the document was already transcribed, manual transcription or HDR. And you see these colors, yellow, orange, green, or gray. Gray means it's not yet worked on or only partly worked on. Yellow means it's in the editing stage. Orange means it's ready for review. It was transcribed and annotated. And green means it's complete. We're coming to the search later. One is the normal search and the other one is discovering documents on the map, because one of the interesting features is also the geolocation. So you can geolocate, put geotags for each page or several for each page when there are different places mentioned in a document, and then you can find them on the map. If you search on the map, sometimes it's very interesting. You find the needle in the haystack. If in a 500 pages volume diary on page 335, some small village is mentioned, where you're coming from maybe, then you can, you would never find this without this geotag or without the transcription. So go to the map and you will find maybe some interesting documents. So we have, you selected your document, maybe somebody transcribed it already, you want to continue transcribing, or you would start from scratch. I selected some language, some document. And then you come to the transcription and enrichment tool, which is in full screen. You have on the left, all images are in a AAAF server, so it's like you have lots of possibilities to zoom in, zoom out, to manipulate the image, to turn it around, etc. And it's the viewer is very easy to use. And on the right, you have several tabs for the enrichment. The first one is transcription. In this case, it's the pure manual transcription, where you can just type in what you can read and use some markers for or space holders for parts of the text which you maybe cannot read, and maybe somebody else later can edit it and then correct it. You do the transcription, you enter the language, and of course save it in between. There you see also on the top the other enrichment tabs. We are coming to it: location, description, enrichment, and story info. That means the metadata for the whole story, and also a link to the tutorial. On the top right there, these images you can this editor you can put on your screen as you like it. You can either have it the view on the left and the transcription on the right, or you can do it on the bottom, or you can have a transcription editor field free floating over the image on the full screen. This is now the enrichment tab, where you can add dates for a document, you can add people, you can add keywords, you can add web resources like linking to a Wikipedia page. This is the location tab where you can add locations for this document, because this is a document with several letters, transcripts of letters from the early 19th century from Germany. So there are lots of places even on one page, and you can see them here on the map. We we already combined this also with so you have linked open data that we combine it with a search in Wikidata references. So ideally, we have then also a Wikidata reference and connection to the Wikidata. And this is also true if for the person, you can also add a Wikidata reference if the person has a Wikidata entry. This is one other example where we designed a special entry form for documents from Zagreb. That was within the project that we already used this form and recreated like an entry form, which helps then to put personal information and location information into the right fields, also not just transcribing it as a text, as a full text as it is. And now, after we did, like, this was the manual part. Now we want to show you what we incorporated as a two options at the moment, two engines to do AI. I mean, include AI. One is using the handwriting recognition tool from Transcribus. The other one, which Tom already mentioned, is OCCAM, which will come next. If I don't know who is familiar with Transcribus, that was a huge project that's run by Reed Co-op connected to the University of Innsbruck, and they developed like a very, very powerful engine and tool to transcribe, to use handwritten text recognition, and you can train your own models, and you can use some public models also for different types of script. So that would be also, at the moment, it's in our page only available to like super users and champions. But later on, we will maybe put it also, make it available to run for everybody. So you have, let's say you have your document, and then you have this choice of wanting to run it with HDR. And then you come to this special selection page where the item ID is automatically in. You search for, these are the different public models of from Transcribus. At the moment, they introduce these supermodels, the text Titan supermodel, which for many European handwritings and languages, this would be the first choice, the first one on the left. You click on it, the model ID comes on top. You select what language is your document in, because this you saw before. You press import, and then it goes, the image is sent to the servers of Transcribus, and then analyzed there and comes back. This can be taking short time, but it also can take a few days if they have a long queue in their processing. And then you get the results into on the Transcribathon platform. And here there's an example of a letter of a Czech document, which we ran through. And for this, when it comes with HDR, we have a different editor. It's an editor from Transcribus, which is incorporated, which then can show you the direct connection with the image, the coordinates on the image, and the line which was transcribed with using the HDR recognition. And so you see on the left, it is highlighted. On the right, you can see the line. And as far as I can see, there are some mistakes, but there, in general, it is quite a good result. So now the task on our page would be to do the correction of this HDR. And yeah, we will see later where we used it already, this option. Yeah, here there's an example of a comparison of a comparison that was that's a document from Dublin in English, very nicely readable, of course, easy to read. And you see on the right, somebody did already a manual transcription. And on the left is the result of the HDR. And you can see already HDR still has some difficulty, even with some easy parts. In the headline, Royal Exchange, it somehow, I don't know how, got it into an English, into a French sentence. This I never seen actually before. But there are some mistakes, but yeah, you can if you compare it to sometimes the OCR, which is put online on for newspapers, the results actually are pretty good here. And now within the AI4Culture project, we incorporated a new engine using the OCCAM tool from Tom from CrossLang, who use in general also then an engine which is called Paro OCR, if I'm not mistaken. Then you come to a similar or to the same page where you can select the models or OCCAM engines. You have Paro OCR, which I mentioned, and newly there is also Logi HDR. Maybe Tom can say something about this Logi later. You also select the engine, the language, and then the result comes. And the Paro OCR is like as OCR is already, yeah, as OCR is mostly meant for, is for printed or typewritten text. And this is also for Czech again. And this is typewritten. Even there, you can see there are very few mistakes, like for instance, in the date. They put 1 instead of L, but maybe that's also because of the way it was typed. Maybe the OCR is actually correct, but the typing was, it should have been an L, but it's rather looking also like a 1. But in general, the results are, of course, pretty good. And here, again, you have the coordinates on the image. So you have the line in the transcription and the coordinates highlighted on the image itself are available. This is, of course, a big advantage of both of these systems compared to pure manual transcription. And yeah, so we did this for certain bigger sets of collections, like the Dublin ones, and for individual runs, we will keep on doing it, and we now also allowed champions and some other curators and super users to run these HDR and OCR over the collections which are available on Transcribathon. And once they are corrected and once they get a certain stage, they are transferred back to Europeana, EU, this results, these annotations. And here's an example of one of these Dublin pages, which where the HDR results got ingested into Europeana and are then displayed on their viewer on the Europeana platform. You see on the left the transcription, and then it's whenever you go with the mouse, then it's also highlighted on the image itself, where the the line of the transcription and the section of the image. That's very important that it comes back into Europeana, and also we worked in the previous EU project on it that can also go back to the provider institution, like in this case, the Digital Repository of Ireland. One other tool which we integrated, AI tool which we integrated with the help of Sergio, the Austrian Institute of Technology, is semantic enrichment, named entity recognition of transcription and stories description. Description of the objects. In this case, you see the enrichment the semantic enrichment screen for the story information, but also for each transcription you can do it. That means you press an analyze button, which is here not visible, and then it will be, the text will be sent to the servers in Vienna, analyzed, translated, analyzed, translated into English, analyzed, and then you get results of places or persons. And then as human in the loop, we do a validation if this is the correct entity or not, and then you can mark them green or leave them empty, because sometimes, as you can see in this example, they also give wrong results, and it's all linked to the Wikidata IDs. So this was the tool and the background, and like, how do we engage the public? How do we engage the users? We are having on the platform so-called runs, because we are transcription marathon, transcribathon. We have thematic runs, which can be on a topic, like there was a manuscript called Nature of Turkestan, for instance, we did on several other topics, or we had this series of stories of the minds, where we selected interesting stories and then published and encourage people to take part in a competition to transcribe as much as transcribe and annotate as much as possible. And this is done with some kind of gamification to encourage people. We have then top transcriber boards, some badges assigned. And if we organize events, which we did quite a few already, physical events and online events, then the winners will get also a prize, badge, or some kind of reward. A run can take from whatever, it can be like an online run which goes on for 1 month or longer, but it can be also an event which is just 2 hours, or a week, where we have a starting and a finishing event. You will see some examples in a second. It's a very good way to engage the public, to get also people together from different generations. Ideally, you work in teams, and then you have teams maybe with students and old people together who have different skills in this set. The images are from Transcribathon, which we had in Vienna with students from an international school. Here are some examples of runs which we had with cultural heritage institutions in the last years. That was one with the National Theatre in Lisbon, where they put on, I think, 200 manuscripts of theater plays from the 19th century. And we had this online, it was during Corona, it was like an online run only, where over the time of 2 months, people were asked to transcribe as much as possible. And there was also a winner. We had a final event. But of course, it's online, and people can still keep on going and transcribing and adding more information to this. The same bigger project was with the Dublin transcription project, from the commissions, all the volumes and plans for restructuring the city of Dublin in the beginning of the 19th century. And here we used HDR in a big scale, because also the documents were in a very neat and nice condition, as you see here. Also the results of the HDR, which I mentioned earlier. Another example is from Wrocław, from Poland, where we were doing it with students again. And yeah, you have the winners there. They got different categories. In this case, we had an event even. And then the students presented also their results. And we had winners in the category of transcription, of annotation, even in different languages, in German and Polish. and then also the winner for presentation, the best presentation. And we have usually, when we have a physical event, a jury who then awards these prizes. That was one example from the earliest stage on, and we were running it in a bigger scale for our 1940-1980 material, and had events in several countries around Europe. Here are some images from Athens, from Rome. And then we had like a European championship in Brussels at the House of European History with a EU commissioner, and the team from Italy became the European champion. These two nice women on the right-hand side, and from Italy, they won the big prize. Currently, we are running we're having a run with manuscripts from the Irish-French explorer Antoine Dabadie. It is a follow-up of a longer French project where they transcribed most of their his diaries on a French platform, and now they asked us to put some additional manuscripts online on ours, and we tried it. In this case, we are trying it. Yeah, it's quite a little bit harder material because we have quite a set of Arabic documents there, and we hope we will find enough people who are interested to try to transcribe Arabic. I mean, we have already 1 or 2 documents transcribed, as you can see. And he was a specialist in Ethiopia, and he did vocabulary of Ethiopic languages. And in this case, it's an interesting part. We have his manuscript about Ethiopic languages. We ran it through a normal HDR recognition from Transcribus. Of course, this model does not recognize the Ethiopic characters, as you can see there, the characters. This is already a manually corrected version where the Ethiopic characters are entered. But of course, this European model only recognized, I mean, they recognize these characters as either Greek or Latin or as numbers. So the manuscript, the HDR recognized manuscript now needs some editors who go through and put in the correct Ethiopic characters. We have a character table there, but of course, in this case, you would need some more expert users who know the language on the script. But this we want to do now more often, that we also encourage having events where people start correcting HDR and OCR. A new feature which will come up is that we encourage cultural heritage institutions to join us and to create their own run, or we create our own run or campaign for them. There will be a page where we make an agreement with them and make a project. Of course, there are some costs involved, unfortunately. Everything for the website itself, it's everything free to use. But if you want to make a campaign, make an event, then of course there are some people involved, working hours, and we will have a scheme how to promote this for you and how to work together. And today we created a small workshop run, AI4Culture Workshop run, which we come back afterwards. On this page, you will see it. We selected some documents which were already run with Transcribus HDR, with OCCAM OCR, and some with manual transcriptions. And this, after Sergio will introduce more, this will be your task maybe to join, and there will be also a top transcribers list in the end. Thank you very much for your attention. I just wanted to mention also that last year we got an award, the first European Union Prize for Citizen Science. We got an honorary mention with this platform. And now I would say ready, steady, transcribe. Thank you very much.
Hello, everybody. I will take over the screen sharing now. I hope you are able to see my screen now. Thank you, Frank, very much for creating this good presentation of the Transcribathon tool capabilities. We will move now to the hands-on sessions where we have where the users can actually run all the functionality of the Transcribathon themselves. We split this in two sessions. In the first session, we will have only one user that is operating the Transcribathon, and will basically show you how to use it, how you do it, how do you work with the Transcribathon, and what can you do. And in this session, I would kindly ask you not to use the Transcribathon because the pages are getting locked, and we might have some collision. Then we will have a short break, and afterwards we have the hands-on section open for all users where you can use the Transcribathon yourself. Before starting the hands-on, why are you not going to the next slide? Wrong presentation. So before moving to the hands-on session, I would like to sum up a little bit together what we do in the Transcribathon. We saw the functionality, and actually this is a whole workflow. First, we start with the transcription, getting the machine-readable text from either from the user or from the tools, and then we are able to translate it. We have several tools, but the best performing is Google, and this is the one that we are using in the production version. And you have the possibility to correct the Google translations, a feature that was recently deployed in the system. And when we have the translation available, we are also able to do the natural language processing, the name identity recognition, and what you saw, what Frank already shown. We can link with Wikidata, and the user is asked to approve these enrichments or reject them. And yeah, we started at the beginning where everything was done manual, so we still have the option to add manual enrichments. And yeah, when the tools are getting better and better, they are still not perfect. They are still missing important information, and the human user is still very important here. We are a little bit late. I will try to be faster. Just in terms of terminology, for the new users, what we have named as story in Transcribathon is actually meant to be a historical document. When we have an item, is typically a page in a document. And what is very important is that we use standards for information representation and exchange. So the page XML is the standard that we are used to get information from OCCAM, from Transcribus, to work with the editor, and then to send to Europeana. And you see in Europeana, it's a different viewer with different functionality where you can search within the document. Everything is possible because of using standard technologies. Another important thing is related to the processing workflow is the status of the documents that you will see in the Transcribathon. We have some color codes. When we import a new document, then this gets the gray state where which basically indicates that nobody worked with the document yet. As soon as you start editing the transcription, the document will change to the edit mode. That's the yellow code. And when the transcription is finished and eventually also enrichments created, the end user will switch the status to review. And from this state, a power user will take it, will verify if it's complete and correct. And then in the end, we can mark the document as being completely processed. So this will help us also to navigate a little bit in the system. Don't worry, you don't need to memorize everything. There is the question mark on the top right corner of the Transcribathon website, which links to the tutorial. You have this in tutorial. And I will be here to guide the people that will help us today. I asked 2 volunteers to go through 2 different scenarios, where one is meant to be for the public users. Let's say it's just a common citizen with some interest in the history and wants to use Transcribathon to consult some original documents. And the other is the use case of more professional users. And I asked some people if they volunteer to help us. One of the persons that kindly approved to play the role of the public user is Julia from Austria. Julia, are you ready? Do you have the permissions to take over the screen and share your screen?
I try to.
Yeah, seems to work. So let's say Julia is just a common citizen with interest in history, and she would like to search some documents in Transcribathon, and she can use the menu, the Discover and Stories menu. You will land to the search page of Transcribathon. And here you have options to filter. So at the beginning, maybe you don't know exactly which terms to use. You can still use the filters already. Maybe we want to, which document we would like. Maybe let's take a document in Italian language. Julia understands a little bit of Italian, is not a native speaker, but we can select the Italian. And let's start first with to select a printed material. Maybe it's easier for us to read at the beginning. And yeah, if we choose the first document, Lettera Duca d'Aosta, we can open the document and see how much was transcribed in this document. Probably the screen size is not that big on your screen. So if you have always the possibility to scroll up and down. Now we are just seeing the document. Every public user, without even being logged in, can see the documents. But when you start the transcription, you need to be logged in. So if you scroll a little bit down, you can start transcribing the document. We see that this document is in edit modus. So we see that pretty much was transcribed. We can see first to see if the the full document is transcribed. If you click on the show more, you will be able to see the full text. So the beginning seeks to be there. So let's see also if the end with the scroll. So the drag and drop functionality is there. With the scroll, you can enlarge, and you can. I think you can drag a little bit down the image. Is it? Yeah. Okay. Seems that maybe a little bit of a larger.
You have to go into full screen.
Yeah, go to the full screen. We will be able then to see. Yes, now we can see better the full document. And let's see if we have all the text. So the last part is, yeah, il generale descritto comodamente. Can we see where the text is? Yeah, this is. And we see that there is a little bit of text missing at the end. So we can click on the pen on the right side to edit the text, and we can try to add the missing information at the end. So we see, yeah, it's if we have typed text, even if we are not a native speaker, one might, with some basic knowledge of Italian, one might understand that it's il colonnello. Seems to be with double N double L written.
Should I add an extra line above the il colonnello? An empty line? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's up to we are doing now manual transcription, so the transcriber has the full power to write what he thinks is best. Comandamente. What is it's
Comandante.
A comandante. Maybe you can enlarge a little bit the
Mm-hmm.
image so that everybody sees exactly. Il reggimento. And it seems to be a bracket below, in brackets, F. Bonetti. Okay, so we have the language of the document is Italian. Without setting a language, you cannot save the transcription. So we can save the transcription now. Okay, and when we see that the transcription is complete, we can switch the status of the transcription from edit to review. So the yellow, the code color is very important. And I would kindly ask you to refresh the page, maybe press the F5 now. Okay, if we scroll down now we see on the right bottom side of the page, we have now active the Analyze Transcription for automatic translation. So basically, yeah, we are using Google. This is a paid service, and therefore we would not like to abuse the machine translation, and we would like to perform the machine translation only when the editing the transcription is complete. So we can click the Analyze Transcription. And now is what we said. We will send the transcription text to the server, where we first ask Google to be kind and translate this text. As we are not native speakers, the most of us don't understand. Maybe the ones that have Latin-based languages understand a little bit of it, but not the full meaning. We will see. We will get soon the English translation, and then this is what we mean that the informational content gets accessible to a much wider audience. So we see now that we have the English translation, and we have also the named entity recognition. So in this case, only locations were found. Maybe we click on the locations or the verify, doesn't matter which one. You will see what was found. Was it open or yeah, or click on the locations tab. Yeah, okay. We see that yeah, we had a manual location assigned with Trieste, and we see that some Piave was found, which is a river in Italy. Maybe we can open in the new tab the transcription? Let's see in Italian description what was in the transcribed transcription. Where is the Piave mentioned? Switch back to the transcription.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can click if you click on the edit button for the translation, not transcription, should be down the. Yeah, we have the edit button, the pen here. So we will see it a little bit. So we can simply search in the text for the Piave to see where was it mentioned. So among whose ranks the regiment fought on the Carso and on the Piave. So it seems that it was some battle. I'm not familiar with the Italian history, and also not that much with the geography. But let's ask Google if it can help. Maybe we can open in a new tab Google and to see if there was any battle in Piave.
But you don't see you don't see it now. I think I only shared the transcriber.
No, we see it.
You see it.
We see it.
Okay. So.
So it is a river. So this is what we recognize. But let's search if there was battle Piave. Let's see what. Okay, so indeed there were some battles on the Piave, and probably this is what is referenced. Currently, we don't have historical events which are automatically recognized, but this is one. It's the next of our to-do list. So in these cases, would be nice to be able to enrich this document and to say this relates to the Battle of Piave. But yeah, we can decide for now that the location was a good one, and we can approve it. On the right side, we click, we submit. Just the first one. Okay. It seems to be duplicated.
Yeah.
So also we can go to the story info on the right side. We have here also the document, which so the description of the document, and we can also press the analyze story description for enrichments. We can do the same thing. let's see if so we have one enrichment. I'm not sure if it's the correct one. We can open, right-click in Wikidata. We can see was the Duke of Savoy, which left in a different year, so it's not the correct enrichment. So then we will not approve this one.
Okay.
So yeah, this is what we can do. We have one document, maybe we can take another document to see some other enrichments. We can go back to the filtering and take another Italian and another Italian.
Okay, now I started you. Sorry.
No worry. So printed Italian thing. Yeah, maybe we can take the second one in the list. See, this seems to be already in review status. Let's see what was done on this document, what we have as enrichments. So we can again analyze and transcribe if we don't have already since it was not done, we don't have the English translation, or we have it. Okay, then we don't need to do it again. We can see in the locations if we have enrichments. So we have only the manual enrichments. So that this means that we can run again the analysis. The analysis was not performed on this document. We need to go back to the transcription and to press the button. Okay, now we see that we have persons and locations. Yeah, let's switch to the locations. There were already via AIDA from Rome, Piazza Mario Cortesi Ortobello. These were manual enrichments, and we see that Rome, Monaco, Rome, Ortobello, Alberta was added. We can again do the same and look a little bit. Well, based on the previous locations, we can see if we want to add the city of Rome together with the exact address. We can validate Rome is definitely correct. It's the question if we want to add it or not. I think it's no harm to add Rome.
So should I edit? You would edit?
Yeah, I would approve it.
Okay. Maybe can I say something? Sorry,
yes,
the
please.
first one is the wrong Rome. The second one is the right Rome. The first one
that's
is
the
ancient city of Rome.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
We can see that there are so that this ambiguation is often a problem. We find more entities, but we need to pick the right one. Ortobello is also, if we want to get us the commune. Alberta, let's see what is Alberta. So we can, well, let's submit these two and go back to the English to see what is Monaco and Alberta. To the transcription. And yeah, in the English, if we open the editor, then we see much more.
It's the name of the one.
Yeah, so it's not the state of Monaco and Alberta. So
it's the name.
is the sister. We are okay. So these are not correct. Let's see for the people. So we have something own. Let's see what is own. So it's Oprah Winfrey Network, definitely not correct, but we see there that the that the label own is used for this entity. This is why the system thought that it might be related to this Wikidata entry. If we look to the Alessandro Levi, also in Wikidata, this is a researcher, not much information about him, but if we scroll down, we will see ORCID, which means that is something that is a person that is still alive, so it's not likely to be the correct one. Okay, but yeah, we have Alessandro Levi. It is a person that is mentioned in the document, and we even have information about it. Yeah, so we can manually add, because we have only Luigi Monaco, we can add the person, the plus button after the people. Yeah, we can add ourselves. So what we know about this person, so it's Alessandro Levi. So do we have more information about this? We could switch to the story information. I think there is some information in there. We see also at the beginning.
Do I have to save it first or not?
Yeah, let's save.
Okay.
I hope it stays.
He seems to be the person addressed.
Yes.
And we also see the birth date.
Yeah. So let's add this information. Person addressed, birth date and other. So who is able to read the Latin years? Okay. Let's
Is it
see.
Correct? Can
we
anyone?
will see. Just save it and go to the history, to the story info. Yeah, we can read the English translation. On the facade of the family home of the violent Alessandro Levi, who heroically fell at the age of 22 on the karst in October 1917. So we know when he died. So we can add also the when he died, and it was age of 22. So I think you are reading quite well the year.
Did you remember the month? It was this
October
22nd of.
Or we can go switch and come back.
There was no date. It was just a year, a month.
Just a month.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was meant in the.
The age of 22.
The age was 22. I'm not sure if we can save without a date, but let's see. We were able. Perfect. So this is quite easy if we have typed materials. So let's try now to do something with the printed documents. Let's go back to the main Transcribathon page, and yeah, so the Discover Stories again is the main menu to find documents. And let's pick now. There is also the options to go to to choose transcriptions. So not to search in the metadata, but in the transcriptions. Under the search box, pick the transcriptions. Yeah. So, and let's pick a German document. It's harder to understand. And so maybe we pick the first document to see how it works. Obviously, the handwritten text recognition is much challenging than the typed materials. And yeah, let's see how much transcription we have. So I think this is the only we see it's in the edit status. We can, on the top, we can go left and right, and we see the orange ones that are already in review status. They are complete, but on this page we can see what is happening. We see some question marks here, so these are probably this is an indicator that the transcriber was not able to understand what is written. So we can go to the full screen mode again. It's much easier to try to read. You will have Julia. The full screen mode is on the left side.
Yeah, I'm already in the full screen mode.
Are you already? Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So let's see, where is the first question mark?
Okay, so here says Antrag auf Versetzung.
Ja. Ich möchte
meinen.
Da ist etwas, eine Linie. I'm starting to speak German, sorry. Switch back to English.
Can I just delete it?
It's very hard to understand, so to read what that is. So it's likely that we will have to guess what that is. Yeah, and we have another question mark. Where is that?
Okay. So this was übrigens.
Okay. Okay, then I think, yeah, there is another indicator that some text is missing, but I'm not sure if someone is able to understand what is on the right side, on the bottom of the document. So we can leave it like that.
Yeah.
We can save it, switch again the status to review. And if we refresh the page, then we will get the button to analyze the story.
Is there any other possibility to refresh it, or to because
we will have to improve this. We recently introduced this functionality to analyze the HTR and the transcription. We will have to, for the time being, the refresh is working. We'll have to do some improvement that when we refresh automatically the page when the status is changed.
Okay, so you can only do the analysis when the status is at least review or is review.
Yes. Yes.
Not in the edit status. Okay.
Not in the edit status. Let's see what we have under the people. Okay. So we see some Ministry of National Defense. Now let's open the Wikidata entry. So what I told before, we are computing also enrichments with organization. Ministry of National Defense is an organization, it's a legal entity, but we see we have here the problem that is the Liberian Ministry of National Defense. So we would need the German one. Let's just get the Ministry of National Defense and put it in the search. And let's see if we have one for Germany. Just search for Germany in the page because there are many.
Okay.
So you see one of the challenges. We have many ministries of national defense.
Probably I can put in the German term.
Or put in the search.
Yeah. It's not finding Germany.
No?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sorry, Sergio, this is not Germany, it's East Germany, it's GDR, so it will not be able to find it like this. Maybe
Let's see.
The time. I just want to mention that the time is also, you wanted to do some other.
Yeah.
We're already at the break time.
So, okay.
Yes. So we have so one of those, I'm pretty sure that the one is Germany. This is the correct one. So one could add this in the list of the organizations. You cannot change it automatically, but maybe it's not good to misuse the people. So this, let's say we are a little bit behind the schedule or a little bit too much. Thank you very much, Julia, for helping us.
You're welcome.
We will go now, we will move forward and we will ask Hugo to help us to showcase the HDR and the OCR. Hugo is a Portuguese native speaker. Let's say he's an employee of a cultural heritage institution. Hugo, can you take over the screen and maybe we can start from the mini round page that we created. We have some documents there. Yeah, let's say Hugo just recently got access to the functionality. He's a power user, has the access to the functionality to run HDR and OCR.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you can see my screen.
Not yet.
No. I'm sharing. Can you see if it's in the top?
We can see it. We can see your screen.
Okay.
Sergio, you have to switch on top.
Sorry, it was me. So we can find the in the runs, mini run, the last one, AI4Culture Workshop, the first one. Yeah.
You have it open already. It's on the screen.
It's already.
Okay. Then let's scroll down. So for the OCR, we see that there are 4 documents that we showed here. Let's pick the one that is not complete yet.
This one.
And we can click the transcribe button already. It takes a little bit of a while. It seems that for some reason the system is a little bit slow today.
Doesn't seem to be. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Just one remark. Sorry to interrupt, but somebody is asking to the schedule to be shown again. So the schedule. So I guess.
Okay. Yeah, we are a little bit behind. We are supposed to have a break now, right? But maybe we can try to do 10 minutes with Hugo and then to switch to the to do the break and continue with the hands-on session for everybody.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's pick the first page that was not transcribed yet. So it's the 4th page in this case.
4th one.
And you see now a difference. Don't start transcription. We see a difference now that the power user has the at the bottom of the image, we have the Run HDR OCR button. Let's not do this on this page because to save some time, let's start with the page where we have some manual transcription so that we can show the comparison. So let's pick the second page. Okay, and then we can run the HDR. So we will select the CrossLang because this is HDR, is OCR. And now the system is asking which models are available. Select the Pero OCR. We need to select the language. In this case was Croatian. The model was selected and we run the import. So now the image will be sent to the CrossLang server, which is running the OCR, which also takes a little bit of while. It's a lot of text in the image, but it's already done. So now we have on the left side, we have the back to the item link. The processing is complete. And as soon as we have this, again, below the image, we have another two, the HDR editor and the compare. Let's go just to the compare. So yeah, Hugo is not able to speak Croatian, me neither. So if we scroll down below the image, then we see here on the left side is the HDR, what we got from Pero OCR. On the right side, we see it's just a partial translation, and it seems to be quite good, quite almost perfect, I think, or not perfect. We can see that also later in the HDR transcription. So in this case, when we see that the HDR transcription or the OCR is very good, we can scroll a little bit up, and then we can, in this case, mark the HDR transcription as active, switch the button. That's the manual, switch to the HDR. Yeah. And if we scroll down the page, all down, yeah, now we're set. Scroll down, we have again the link to the back to the item. And now the HDR will be active and we are able to open the document in the HDR editor. If you go to the full screen mode, then it's probably easier, but we can see that, briefly compare maybe. Yeah, we see that it's very good, and even the diacritics. So this is important that we have many languages in Europe, and several languages have their diacritics, and we see that the recognition is quite good. I think, if I'm not wrong, Tom, I think a lot of the training set was Czech materials, which have all these diacritics and special characters, and therefore we have it in the system, and it was quite good recognition even if applied to a different language. So another difference when we run HDR, we know that the transcription is complete, and we already marked automatically the document as being in review status. Can you please click on the OK on the bottom, just at the bottom of the page? Because it's on the red bar, that one was hiding the analysis. We can run the analysis, basically the same what we did for the manual transcription is we can do also for HDR. We see Sarajevo was recognized but was already manually added, so nothing to do. To save some time, let's pick another document, one document that is on in your native language. If we go to the run page, it's open. Just switch the tab to the previous tab. I think it's the next one. The second tab is the one that is with the.
Yes.
The second tab is already open. The mini run.
All right. I couldn't see it. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. So we can move now to don't change. We are already there.
Yeah.
So just scroll down to the next section. We have here some documents, and you see the languages or documents are marked. So Hugo is Portuguese. Let's open the Portuguese document. And we do the same or something similar. In this case, we have a handwritten document. We will have to run the handwritten text recognition and using Transcribus in this case. So scroll down, then we have the run HDR OCR. And we'll choose Transcribus. And we will see that we have Transcribus has a lot of open documents, open models. The document of the language is Portuguese. And there are many models. The question is which model to choose. So we will choose a model that has Portuguese and handwritten, and even the centuries seems to match. So let's do this one. I'm not sure. I didn't check if let's see. It's selected. We can run the import. So I didn't try the super model yet. I'm not sure how when was introduced, was advertised already by Frank, but let's see. It seems that there was an error. Let's try to do it again.
Let me see if it doesn't go back. It went back. Okay. Let me go back again.
Portuguese model.
Okay.
Yeah. If you click is selected, and we scroll up again to run the import.
There is a model filter bar. If you put in Portuguese, then you see only Portuguese models. There, filter model. There you would see only the Portuguese model.
Right.
Okay, so there are something like 5 models. We hope that the Transcribus servers are not overloaded now because everything is done on the fly.
Yeah, this can happen sometimes, that this process might even take several days, but
yeah.
today we are lucky.
So it worked, so we can go back to the item. Yeah, the OCR and HDR is quite resource intensive, and I think nowadays Transcribus is, yeah, we can also see the comparative of the transcriptions. There was a little bit of the text there. We scroll down. Let's see what the system. We can see that the handwriting is it's old, even if it looks. I hope that the Portuguese people are able to read it. It looks nice, but I have some difficulties to read some of the letters. So if we look at the first paragraph, I'm not sure how many characters. The first, the first line where we can compare. I'm not sure.
This is correct one, and then this one is with the. This one is the correct with the space in between. This is separate, and this one is also separate. It just feels like the handwriting. The person seems to glue the two words together, but they are separate. And then this one is correct.
What is the correct version for? Is pasado or pausado?
The most
for this
correct
you need for this you need the native speakers.
So the most correct one is this one.
Okay.
Even though this word is not correct, this one is correct.
Mm-hmm. So there are, I mean, it's we see it's quite it's a much more challenging document. It's doing a good work. I think if we start correcting the text from the HDR, it will not that much. It will not be so hard. So we can mark the HDR active again here. So we switch to the HDR editor from now on. So we can use the editor to edit.
Can I click in this one?
On the pen. So that's the status. The pen is the editor. Yeah. Yeah. So we are now already in the editor. So you can click correct. You see when you edit a line, you have the highlight in the image. So it's much easier to follow the text that you are transcribing than in the case of the manual transcriptions, where we don't have the layout detections. This is coming from the HDR engine. So yeah, we are, I think, now 15 minutes late. I would propose to stop here and take the break. Yeah, again, the same things. We can save the document. We can run analysis again. We can see. Let's save the document and run the analysis in between. And then we will take a, how long is the break? 10, 15 minutes, Tom?
10 minutes, yeah.
10 minutes. Okay, yeah, let's take a 10 minutes break and we will come back here. I will also take a coffee and a glass of water, and we come back and everyone that has registered to the Transcribathon can start then to engage in the mini run competition, to test the system itself. So for the mini run, for the regular users, the HTR and OCR is not available. We are only doing manual transcriptions and enrichments. So the power users and hopefully cultural heritage institutions which might have documents to on which they want to run HTR or OCR can come to us, and we can import their documents and also grant them access to use the HTR and OCR. So thank you very much. 10 minutes break, and we resume in 10 minutes.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if there were some questions in the
we do the
chat,
questions after the break, okay?
After the break, yes. After the break, we will look to take the questions first.
Shall we start again?
Yes, I can. I hope people are here. Maybe if you raise thumbs up, we know how many people we have back in the call. A few things are popping up. It seems that there are still some many people that are not yet here. Let's wait 1-2 minutes more. It was a long first session. Frank, just one short question. Is the mini run officially open?
Yeah, of course the mini run is officially open. Yes. Yeah. Shall I maybe show now and show the run?
Just in a moment, we promised that we go through the questions. I think that some were answered, but I would add something more. So the first
maybe we
question.
ask people first for questions now, like publicly.
Yes, we will ask, but let's pick what was in the chat. So first was, does this AI learn on what users are correcting to make less mistakes in the future? So there was already an answer that so yes, there are tools to use the corrected transcriptions and to add back to the training process and to add these new materials on one side. On the other side, I think if we saw the comparison screen, we see that in many cases neither the manual nor the automatic transcription is perfect. So at the pace that the AI technology is developing now, I think we will soon have tools that would be able to actually take in account to post-process automatic transcriptions, to combine with the manual transcriptions, and to try to generate a more correct version. Still not perfect, I would assume, but I anticipate that in the next years we will have this kind of functionality, and I think Tom will present something in this direction a little bit later, working from OCCAM. So do we have another question? So that is good output. Perhaps is there a language proofreader embedded to help confirm spelling and grammar corrections in the transcribed text? I'm not sure if I 100% understand the question.
Can I answer then maybe? Because
yes,
the question
please.
is if there's a spelling proofreader installed. No, there is not. And the spelling and grammar correction is, of course, very, very dangerous if you talk about historical documents. But of course, everybody can, if you use, depending on which browser you use, you can use an add-on which gives this kind of spelling corrections. But as a historian, I have to warn you that this can also mislead, of course, to some modernized spelling, which might not be the original one in the document. And in transcription, we usually go for trying to do the transcription as accurate as it is in the original, even if the spelling was wrong or maybe not in the modern form. But you are I understand that it helps, and with this normal add-on in the browser, it is possible to use a spelling correction also.
Yeah, maybe one a second note that I would have. It's not the answer to this question, but I noticed that in several documents or in many historical documents, the way of writing the text has changed. The language evolved, and there are some words that are not used anymore. And I must say that Google is doing a very good job of translating even the text that has spelling mistakes. So if you go to these documents that we were working it, and you will be able to see the English translation, you will see that the English translation is quite good, even if we had spelling mistakes. So this is done by Google Translator, but I think that's similar. I think ChatGPT can do also. You can ask ChatGPT to correct misspellings, but the question is the same what Frank said before. What do we want? Do we want a faithful transcription to be transcribed exactly how was in the original document, or we want the transcription that is, let's say, written to the current norms? Probably we will need both. So I see that this AI of correcting the spells will be an addition, and not in the first instance will not be a replacement.
Okay, I would think that we ask, if anybody has a question to ask, maybe raise your hand, and if not, then we would go into the run now, into the hands-on.
Yeah. Any other questions from the audience?
Does the system allow to download the generated transcription to be reused in another platform? We have certain download functions. It will be also improved that we make it available in different formats. But I mean, if you're a cultural heritage institution which has a run with us, then of course you can download everything. Yeah, we will work on that more, but at the moment it's not like on a bigger scale possible.
But the primary access is through the APIs, and we saw already that we transfer the transcriptions to Europeana in the web annotations format. We embed the page XML or the text in web annotations, so this is available.
Yeah. And by the way, there was another question earlier, because Transcribers is a paid service. That's true, and we were partners with Transcribers in the EU project. That's why this tool is for fair use, available for our platform to use with no extra costs, but so that means with documents which are on Transcribathon, and if we decide to run it with HDR, then it can be used, the Transcribers tool. But in case you as a cultural heritage institution want to have a bigger collection on Transcribathon and want to run it all with HDR, there will be also some extra cost for this HDR, for this Transcribers HDR to be involved. For the cultural heritage institution, not for the person who is doing the transcription.
Okay, so
message. Okay, yeah. I think, yeah, I mean, Sergio, we are going now to to ask everybody to participate in our online run. We created a special run page for this workshop. I saw that many registered already. In case you did not register yet, you can go to transcribathon.eu/register and register yourself. On the other hand, on the page itself, you see already, you will see on the top a link to the AI4Culture run, or this is also the URL, which you can see here. And oops, sorry, that was not. And yeah, so I would encourage everybody to to register now and have a look on the run page. This is the run page where we have some explanation on the top. And as you saw already from what Sergio showed before, there are 3 sections, four stories, 4 documents run, which were pre-run with OCCAM OCR. They are printed materials. Then 4 documents, which are handwritten documents in English, French, Italian, and Portuguese, which were pre-run with Transcribus HDR, and then quite a few of documents which were just for manual transcription. And you're free to choose if you want to experiment and do some things with any of these documents. In the OCR and HDR examples, it's about correcting these the OCR and HDR, and for manual transcription is just manual transcription. Everything what you do will be counted in. You will get the characters will be counted, and the characters which you corrected will be counted. And then later on here in the results bar, you will see that Hugo already was running 1 mile. He transcribed 62 characters when he did the correction of the of the HDR of the Portuguese document. So later on there will be you will see your name in the top transcribers list, and we will see how much you can do. Yeah, Tom, how long shall we have for this session? We are there the whole time available for questions, but I would say ready, steady to transcribe.
Yeah, we have to look at the schedule. So I guess, yeah, I'm not sure how long the mini run could take. I mean, to finish like a transcription probably would take a bit of time. So I guess maybe it's good to have people started doing the transcription, and then at some point I can start my presentation on OCCAM, and people can still continue working or not while I'm presenting. So just in interest of time, because I still need a bit of time to explain. I don't think I will need much time to explain the platform as such. I think because it's well already clear, clearly documented on the website. But so I could maybe make this a bit shorter. But for the OCCAM walkthrough, I still need a bit of time. So if I don't know, what about like say 15 minutes for the mini run, and then I can move on from there?
Yeah, let's put 15 minutes for the mini run, so that the people can log in and work a little bit with the systems to see if anyone has problems. We are here to help with. And the mini run is open for longer time, so you can in the afternoon, if you love to read these documents and to make them available for other people. So I'm not sure how long will we keep the run open, but when we are typing, you see that the results are coming in already, and I'm not sure. Frank, how long would be like?
Yeah, I mean,
1
officially
day,
we did it now
2
until
days?
the end of the session, but we can also keep it. I mean, the website will stay open anyway, so you can continue. But let's say the results coming in, we do until the end of the day. I mean, until midnight.
Yeah, let's see, or we could even prolong for tomorrow if people want to play a little bit with the system and to see the results in the end. Let's see. Okay, I missed how I can log in. Can you please share on the chat here to follow? So there is the login page on the top right corner of the Transcribathon. The register link we can copy right away in the chat. So I'm not sure if everyone had the chance to read through the whole invitation email. I think the register, well, okay, maybe we didn't send the register link directly, but just a link to the Transcribathon. So yes, to transcribe, we need to log in. Nowadays, we get many emails and we tend to read just the beginning. So I hope that you will be able to create an account now. It shouldn't take long. In 2 minutes should be created, so you can log in and participate.
Yeah, please feel free to ask any question just straight away with a microphone now, whenever you're in the document. And yeah, I can also walk through one document if you're interested.
Yeah, in this section until the next presentation, I think everyone should feel free to open the microphone and ask the question directly if someone has.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. So I opened the Romanian document, and on the left part, I expand the sidebar. And should I just check if the spelling is correct?
You open the Romanian document from the OCR or which Romanian?
Povestea lui Ioan Guția. Which one did you open? So there are, as I just recap short, you have the pages.
Yes.
Okay, you have the pages which some pages at the beginning in this document you can open. Is exactly this one, Frank.
This one.
So
yeah,
that
I should.
no, left. The first one left.
Ah, the first one. Okay.
So you see the colors. There are some pages that were already transcribed and are in the review status, some that are in the edit status. I assume that most of the text is there, and at the end there should be more. I think there are more pages which are not transcribed at all.
Because they're images.
They are images. Okay, so maybe we should pick some other.
No, but that's a good idea. She can continue with this.
Yeah.
I just show you if I go on, let's say I go on page 4. Just takes a moment, sorry. So this is manual transcription.
Yes.
And if my page is loading at some point. Here it was already transcribed. So you go also on the pen and now you can read on the left.
Just a second. What did you press? So
the pen. I pressed the pen. You press the pen and then you see on the left the image,
yes.
on the right the text, and you could correct. In this case, it looks to me very correct, but you could try, for instance, the ones with a question mark or something, or you take another page which is completely untranscribed and started to transcribe.
But do we have some? That's the question.
There is.
I think there is.
Yeah, of course there is.
Let me check. So if on the the 54, I think is not started yet.
Yeah, but I should not start.
No, not you. No, sorry. 54 is not. The 6.
But your question is
Okay.
answered, right? You understand
Yes.
now what you do. This was the
Yes, so and how do I generate?
No, you're not generating. In this moment, this is manual. You're in the section for manual transcription. That means you just type in manually or correct manually and then press save.
Okay.
Yeah.
In this
The
case, there's
HDR and
nothing
OCR is not for the, so it's just for the power users activated.
Okay.
I mean, in this case, we could decide that this is, I mean, if Sergio and you agree that this is correct, then we can put it in to edit and we could to review and can run the the semantic enrichment, but that was not the main task now.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
And so if you eventually, I'm not sure we have, I think we have another Romanian document where more text is. No, it's one item. We can search also on the main page other Romanian documents where we have more pages which were
Yeah,
not.
but this is now the mini run. We are now staying with
okay.
documents. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it seems like not so many are yet trying. Please press save button in between so to be sure that everything is saved, and then you will also see your name here in the results page. Seems not so many have saved yet.
And also, please remember for saving when you get a page that was not transcribed yet, you also have to select the language of the transcription.
So you can also transcribe, of course, photos, describe photos. Oh, sorry. Yeah, in this case, it's of course very interesting. There would be the place name, but I'm not able to read the place name. That's of course the most important information I cannot get. Maybe somebody else.
Mhm. I guess it's the name of the city or a village or something.
It's the same of the city, but unfortunately this one I cannot read.
Yeah.
Interesting point. Maybe we can run this through HDR.
Yeah.
It's actually an interesting task. I will do that. I don't think it will really work, but I never tried this HDR with a photo in the back, so I will try the Titan model and try it.
Okay, so I would suggest so people are now performing this this task, but I can already move on now to the my presentation on OCCAM, just in the interest of time, so that we. So I guess I can share my screen directly here. Okay. Yeah, so a short overview of OCCAM. So OCCAM has been mentioned already a number of times. for instance, in terms of the OCR engine, Pero OCR, for printed text. So basically, currently we call the integration between OCCAM and Transcribathon goes through a gateway. We're still adding a visual interface to this gateway, but currently we have these ways to send information to OCCAM so that it provides information back. And yeah, as already mentioned, there's this OCR engine, Pero OCR, but we're also currently adding another engine which is for handwritten text. And basically, this is a bit different from Transcribus in the sense that we are using Logi, which is an open source system specifically created for handwritten text. And the idea will be that that it will be possible also at the end of the project to, if you want to, as a cultural heritage institution, install your own system locally, you will be able to do so because people will create Dockers, these are systems that can be installed somewhere, and you can actually then use that HDR system if you want to, and also apply it to a lot of data. So because the AI4Culture is also very much geared towards using open source, which means like systems that you can use for software that you can use without specific financial constraints, let's say, and that you can also adapt yourself if you have the technical knowledge to do so. So this is about how you can recognize text using OCCAM. There's also a few experimental features in terms of trying to improve transcription and to improve translation. And I will show you this with a number of examples. So one thing I would like to mention here is something that was already referred to earlier by Sergio and Frank, which is about using manual transcription that exists to improve HDR output. So the idea is you have already, like for instance, in Transcribathon, you have campaigns where people have only they have created manual transcription, but without starting from HDR or OCR. So you have the flat text, as we call it. So it's simply a plain text without a link to the image. On the other hand, you have, of course, HDR systems that can produce the link with the image, but often the result are, especially with like certain languages and maybe a bit older text and handwritten text, the results are not necessarily very, very good. But you would like actually to combine the strengths of both, let's say, so the good quality of the manual transcription with the link between the image that you have in the HDR output. So if you look at this example from Italian, you can see to the left the manual transcriptions, to the right the HDR transcription produced with a Transcribus model, actually, in this case. And for those of you who understand Italian, they can see that there's quite a lot of errors here, recognition errors. And then the question is, can we use the manual transcription to correct that HDR output and at the same time still keeping the link with the image? And that's what we do, let's say, experimentally in OCCAM. So we have this, the middle thing is like what we now have, like a kind of a way to address the system. This will be, as I said, will be more visual in the future. But you can see here, you have two things. You have the OCR or HDR file, so the output, and you have the manual transcription. And then if you combine both, the system internally in the background will compare both things, both text, types of text, and it will come up with the corrected version of the HDR output. You can see the tildes, these are only there to flag what words have been changed. It's just for information purposes. And you can see that quite a lot of words have been changed, which means that the HDR output was originally not very good, but we were able here to correct quite a few words automatically using the manual transcription. And to come back to the whole discussion about also ground truth, and can you actually train a model, or can it actually let's say take into account the corrections of users that manually validate text? So if you do it this way and you do a final validation of the this automatic kind of correction, you can actually create ground truth that you can use then for training a new model. So this is a way to reuse information that's already existing. So that's one thing that we have in the OCCAM tool to improve transcription. Another thing that we looked at is actually translation of transcription. So CrossLang is a company specialized in multilingual natural language processing. So we work a lot on automated translation. And here's an interesting use case, because we know that typically the input of machine translation is nice text, good text, and also sometimes also already split in sentences, so you know where the sentence starts and ends and so on. But of course, with transcriptions, it's different, because you have like a number of lines which are not necessarily sentences, which means that if you translate the transcription lines separately, you will get often wrong output. And here, if we do the test in OCCAM with e-translation, the MT system of the European Commission, we see that we get, sometimes you get translations that are okay, but sometimes it goes wrong. Like in the French part here at the bottom, you can see if it's translated to English, you can see that there's no grammar anymore. It's not grammatical, because all lines are translated separately without connection. So of course, that's not what you want to have if you want to use transcriptions multilingually. So that's why we added some options to OCCAM that allow for a more, let's say, clever way to deal with translation. And that's actually by specifying options like join paragraph, which means that you take all the lines of a paragraph together into one long piece of text, and then that's translated as a whole, and doing that will actually allow to get better output. So here you can see to the right that you get a better translation of that specific sentence. So this is like one relatively simple way, let's say, to improve translation. You can even go to a whole page and put everything together and translate. This will work to a certain extent. There's some difficult cases where like if a sentence crosses a page, so it starts on the next page, we'll have a half sentence at the end of a page, and of course then the quality will not be perfect because everything is page based. Also, there's of course different qualities of machine translation for different languages, so you have to look into you have to test a bit to see how well it works for your specific case. And another thing that, of course, is very present in OCR or HDR output are recognition errors. So this is different from grammar or spelling errors. It's really about the quality of recognition. So it might be that there's no mistake in the text handwritten, but the recognizer doesn't change it or display the right character. So here we have an example with which should actually be débarquons instead of déparcourir or something. RIS should be like NS. So if you translate that automatically, you get like the funny word déparcourir in English, which doesn't make sense. And what we actually did is experiment with a kind of a chatbot. It's actually similar to ChatGPT, but it's also like a more openly available system that you can also install locally if you want to as a developer. And when applying this kind of technique, you will see that it actually is able to correct some errors. Like in this case, it has actually done the right correction. Of course, we noticed that it's really dependent on also the OCR and HDR output. It can be that there's so many errors in OCR or HDR, like in the Italian text that we've shown, that it's really too difficult to do this automatically. But if the original quality was already, let's say, quite good, you can actually get also decent corrections by using this approach. So basically, this what we have now, this gateway, OCCAM allows to experiment with this kind of approach. And doing this correction will also improve translation. And that's actually one of the main reasons why we try this. So if we have the wrong correction, the wrong recognition here to the left, and we add an option correction LLM meaning large language model, which is a kind of a what's typically known as a chatbot. It will actually produce by combining, by actually applying this correction, it will in the background change the word by the right French word, débarquons, and it will lead to the right translation. So this is also a way to try to improve translation. But as I said before, it's really also, it really depends a lot on the use case, and you can try it out and see how well it works on your specific text. Another example here is also where we tried to correct, and you see that in the French text you get 2 mistakes. There's probably more, but we indicate here 2 mistakes. Out, which is like a specific accent instead of having just the plain letters here, and difficulté is like split, and they even use 2 hyphens in the text, which is a bit peculiar. So of course, in translating that into English automatically gives like a funny kind of translation. And by using the automatic correction, you can actually get the out will get a specific accent on it, and difficulté will become 1 word, and then you get a better translation. So this is like a way to try to facilitate, let's say, transcription, or even to automate it if you know that fully, let's say, if you know that there's just few mistakes left, then you might even like use it for searching without doing the final corrections if you want to. Also, what we have in this OCCAM interface is a way to evaluate how well the OCR or HDR output is compared to the ground truth. So you want to have an idea, how well does my system work, or whatever kind of output you have, you want to see how well does it compare with how does it compare to the ground truth, how well does it work. And I don't know if anyone here is familiar with in the others familiar with the character error rate, but it simply counts like the number of characters that are wrong compared to your ground truth. And when looking at this Italian text I showed in terms of using manual transcriptions before, if you use that without doing any kind of correction, you will get a search score of 0.11, which means like one could say around 12% of the characters are wrong, which is quite a lot, because in good OCR or HDR models actually are only around 0.02, so like 2 or 3%. So this is already quite high as an error rate. You can also see the mistakes here highlighted in red. And if we then apply this this procedure where we use a manual transcription to correct the output, we see that it decreases the error rate to 0.03, which means that it's significantly reduced. Meaning that if you apply this approach, you already have a manual transcription, means that you can actually gain quite a lot of time. And it also again depends on the use case. It might be that if the output is very, very bad, it might even be that this manual transcription cannot really help to correct it because there's so many mistakes. So it really depends on the use case. But we noticed by doing a number of tests that it works quite well for most texts to do this. I should say here for OCCAM that basically it's possible to try this out. It's not yet completely integrated in the sense that we don't have still this, for most things here, the visual interface to do it. But this is going to be added, and it will also be possible upon, you need some kind of key to kind of credential login to use that system, but this will be possible in the near future. So it will actually be possible then to try out this system, these specific more experimental features for the text that you have. That was about OCCAM. I can also give a very short overview of AI4Culture, the platform. I think I don't need to explain too much because a lot is already explained on the website, but I will now do stop share and share the other screen with 1 second. Yeah, so here we have the AI4Culture platform. So yeah, basically you have a number of functionalities here. So you have the all resources tab, where you can see actually all the resources available. So data sets, tools, upskilling materials, and of course, these are the ones that we have already uploaded. Basically, what's on the platform are not the tools themselves, but descriptions of them. So typically, the tools and data sets reside somewhere else. So maybe on like Zenodo, for instance, a repository. So most of these descriptions, they refer to some other website, but they give like the metadata for this type of resource. So for instance, if you look at data sets, you will see that in terms of OCR, for instance, we have a number of sets with ground truth, so manually validated pages that you would pay in page XML, which was already mentioned a number of times. So you can actually, if you go there, see a description of what is present. You see some information. You see some links to the original images, to the model that has been used to apply OCR before doing the manual validation, and so on. So there's like a concise description of the information. And basically, it's also possible if you have some information or data set or yourself, or you have one that you know of and could be interesting to mention here, you can actually also contribute to the platform. So here, if you have in the contribute page, you can see how you can actually do this, create an account, and then you can submit information yourself. Might be a data set you have created on your own, or some data set that you know of, and then there will be a submission, and you can do the review of this specific, or we know the consortium here of the project will do the review of this information, and then it will be published. So we invite you to also add information that could be useful for others, because this is also the meaning of this platform, to have like a community working or helping each other out to provide information on resources that are interesting to use for training and testing systems, evaluation, etc. Yeah, so you also have the tools then, which is similar. Of course, the fields are a bit different. Like there's an object detection tool, which is not really related to OCR, but this is one of the other technologies. Here we have a description of OCCAM. There's also something of Transcribus and so on. So we cover already quite a few tools that are available, and including open source tools, so publicly available tools that you might even, as a developer, change yourself. And also interesting are the upskilling materials. There we have a number of tutorials on how to actually do things with tools and data. And I could give as an example. So here are some that we have, some interviews that we have actually given, where each of the technologies is described. There's things on automatic translation. There's also information on specifically then to text recognition. There's information on the way that you can train a model for handwritten text recognition. So this is quite an elaborate tutorial that's available for using specific software, but it gives a good explanation of how, if you would at some point want to create your own model, if you have a lot of transcriptions, how that works. So it's a kind of, it's quite a long process, but it really, this tutorial helps to understand how you can do that. So I think this is in a nutshell what I can say about the platform. Yeah, this you can also contact us if you want to, if you have specific questions. And you can, of course, filter on tools if you want to know if something is already there. You can actually do searching. and do filtering based on these different fields that there are. But this is clearly, this is a platform that's growing. So we have now recently launched the platform, but the idea is, of course, that this will get bigger, and also that there's links between the different resources. So if there's like in the upskilling materials tutorials, we also link to specific tools and data sets. So you can actually get like a network of different resources and understand the different connections. So that's, I think, for the part of OCCAM and the platform. So I don't know if there's any questions from the audience here. We still have a bit of time. Right.
Yes, Tom. There was a question from Delight. I'm not sure if Delight, if you want to take the microphone and ask yourself. Otherwise, I can read it.
Yeah, maybe you can read it.
Okay, so okay, let's see. Delight?
Hi, hello.
Hi. You are from far away. The message comes a little bit hard, but yeah, please.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm really learning, and I'm very impressed with the tool that you're presenting. I think it really does support the description of collections, especially handwritten text. We work with a lot of digitized materials, but they do not really support OCR. I believe this tool can really help us to work and transcribe a lot of materials written in English principally, because within our context, we use more English than other maybe European languages. So we're really impressed. I really like the tool and how it works. I'm not too sure if we can be able to sort of use it maybe as an API on top of a platform for metadata description, say for a digital library system. I'm not too sure if that is possible, or maybe you're still developing it and maybe you'll roll out something similar.
Yeah, when concerning OCCAM, it's now it's like a collection of API endpoints. So yeah, I hear an echo, so I'm not sure if someone is. Yeah. Okay, so as concerning OCCAM, yeah, there's actually a number of API endpoints now. So basically, for the moment we were still like making things, programming things a bit in the way that it can be robust enough if there's different users using it at the same time. But at the end of the project, so in the beginning of next year, we will have like this fully finished, and it can actually also be, you would either let's say address the services directly, the API, or you could also, we will have a system that you can install locally if you want, and then you can also use this internally and use these APIs in your own environment. So that's certainly the idea, because whatever we are creating here as software in the project will also be available. I mean, as of course, not necessarily everything, in the sense that like transcriptions, of course, is still like a different system. But for instance, in OCCAM we have principally everything is in principle everything is open source, so it can also be distributed completely as a Docker that you can install, and then you can use that. And then, of course, it will be interesting also to see if people actually use it in their own environment, whether there's still things that could be changed or added, or
Delight, may I ask from which country are you coming?
Thank you. I think I've been answered. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Is there any other question regarding this, or maybe, I don't know, also regarding the exercises going on?
Yeah, maybe it would be nice to hear if some the ones of you who took part and did some transcription, if you would get some feedback, would be nice. Maybe you can just say something if there was some difficulty, or if there's some something which you really liked. Would be good to know. Also in written form, you don't have to speak up, but if you want, it would be nice to hear something. Okay.
There's a question from Delight.
Yeah, please come unmute yourself, Delight.
Okay, thank you so much. I think I'm taking advantage of being able to come through perhaps at the tail end of things. I was transcribing a postcard. I'm not too sure if I can share my screen so that I can show you how I was transcribing.
If you want, I think you can do it.
Okay, thank you. Let me just share my screen.
So in the meanwhile, I think we had some other feedback from Mayrita. Very easy to navigate when adding manual transcriptions. So it's good to hear that that people are finding easy to use the transcription editor.
Okay. So I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So I was transcribing this postcard, and I couldn't quite pick up the language that has been written below, but I did manage to get this part of the document which says "Happy Christmas to you." Other sections are written, I think, in Norwegian. So I'm not too sure in terms of transcription how I can then go through the process of finding the language for the transcriber to detect that this is maybe Norwegian.
I mean, first of all, it's always good to read the metadata, the story description. And in this case, you would find out that most probably where it's from. If you go on the full screen, then you can show it better also if you press the full screen button, maybe.
On the left side, if you scroll a little bit, you have the X-like button that's moving to full screen. Scroll down a little bit. Yeah, here. Yeah, that one.
And then go to the transcription tab, or you can actually go to the info tab, because in the info tab there will be information. The I after people, yes. Can you click? Okay.
No, in the description should be. No, it's in
no,
the
it's
story information, yeah.
If you scroll down, then you see it's coming from the museum from Bohuslands. I don't know where it is. We can Google it. But if you go down further, then you will see maybe some more information. It's Swedish.
Yes,
There's
Swedish.
language, Swedish. But of course, in general, it is advised that you maybe when you start do something in the language you are familiar with, and then later on maybe you can also do something in other languages. And it's from 1903, and it's a Christmas card from Sweden in this case.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
I think we had some other feedback in the chat. Nina Klassen, I was trying to transcribe the description of the names of children on the picture. Rows were numbered. So when I wanted to type the numbers in, automatically made the enumeration and I couldn't remove it. Frank, do you know? I think
Actually, I don't know that there is an automatic numbering. It might be also your computer setting. Normally, it should not do automatic numbering there.
Yes, I was.
If you could try, if you want to share your screen, you can show it to us. But
yeah, sure, I can show. I will have to look up the picture first.
oh, okay, sorry.
No problem. Oh, already have it. Let's see. It's a bit slow. Yeah, I was. Let's see. How can I share my other? This one. Is it visible?
Yes.
Okay. I already did this, and here we have the rows with the names of the children.
Mm-hmm.
So I was typing this. And then it automatically made the row.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. This should not be. This is like some function maybe in the update of the editor it came. And you cannot remove it. Yeah, this should not be.
Well, I tried to remove it, and then it made another column that started with 1 again. So then I wanted to add the list
Lina,
of the names, and then it added another 1.
Yeah, I think I know what it is. For the time being, just remove the point.
Yeah, but I thought it was in the text.
Yes,
so...
yes, I know. It is something, I think, about that we recently introduced for the HTR, but I'm not sure why do we have HTR like formatting here. So something that we take on to fix.
Okay.
But just don't, for the time being, don't add the point after the, because we I think, or are you in the transcription or in the translation editor?
No, transcription. That's the
transcription.
Transcription. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So this is a bug. Sorry.
This is a
No
bug.
problem. It's good to know.
We wanted, so I will tell you the background. So the point is for the translation we send the full text without the formatting for the translation, and we wanted to make it easier to be read the translation, and therefore we sought to split by sentences the text, but that should be just in the when we edit the translations, and it seems that we made a small mistakes, and it's applied also for the transcriptions. So the workaround for the time being is not to add the point.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much for finding the bug and sharing it with us.
No problem.
We'll take care of it.
Okay, there's another question. Manual transcription, very easy to use. I just wish I was able to include a comment at some point when I had a doubt on the transcription, for example, when could be exist a second option. There are two options. You can highlight something and then there is a question mark, and then this indicates that this is an unclear option, which we saw earlier when we did this. And you can also write in a comment and click there, mark it, and make it with the the info mark. Then it's a comment on the line. So it's also possible to do this. Okay, I think we came to the point that it's 5 o'clock. I will maybe one time, the run is still running. We have now quite a few participants. Maybe I show it one
Share the
time
screen, yes.
more, and then I think we can wrap up. I'm just reloading, and so, oh, Sergio was right. Was overtaking everybody because he did some work, but Mairata is the second and Norman the third. You can see we keep it this scoring system running until the end of tomorrow, and you can, of course, are free and are encouraged to, in general, use try these functionalities yourself more, get back to us, and yeah, I mean, promote it with other people and institutions to use it, and yeah, maybe also get in touch with us if you want, your institution wants to create their own run and their own events. Maybe Tom, you want to say the last word?
Well, Frank, we
yeah,
didn't count what Hugo was doing with HDR and OCR. That would have been interesting to see how much time we need to transcribe the same amount of characters that Hugo did in 10 minutes. But no, it's fair now to have the classification for everyone.
Hugo would, when Hugo is correcting it, then he is getting accounted for.
Yes.
The work of the computer is not counted.
Okay, so yeah, I think we have come to the end of the workshop. So I hope that this has been helpful to you and in terms of learning about these technologies and see how they can be applied to your specific environment and your use cases. Yeah, of course, it's very interesting to try out this technology presented here specifically for OCR HDR, but also, of course, we invite you to repeat myself. I invite you to upload or descriptions of tools and datasets to the platform. Especially datasets could be really interesting so that there's more material that people can test on. We could also to come to a situation where you can actually let's say train tools and test tools and on specific data and see how well it works and get a bigger variety of material. So yeah, so this is would be very helpful. And also, if you have any questions, you can ask us, for instance, through the platform. There's a contact page. And maybe to find as a final note, yeah, this is the first workshop of 5 in total for the project. So if you would be interested also in other technologies, you can also register, or maybe you already did for one of the other workshops. And this being said, I think I would like to all thank you for being present, and I wish you a nice evening.
Thank you very much, and I also thank you very much for the nice feedback that we get in the chat for the workshop. It's great to have you as participants in the workshop, and I think well, we did this time something new, that we also introduced the hands-on sessions, which we wanted to see how the real users feel when using Transcribathon. We hope that helped you also to get in contact with the tool and to transcribe texts yourselves. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and thank you. I also want to thank you, and just also to Mark, when you're logging out of Zoom, you automatically will be asked with the Europeana survey. So we would be very happy if you could participate and fill out the questions which are coming from this Europeana and AI4Culture project as a survey. It will pop up automatically whenever you go out of Zoom. Thank you very much. And
Thank you.
Maybe Hugo, would you like to add something? So you are also, we didn't introduce yourself, but you can introduce yourself. Yeah.
I'm Marinus. I'm head of engineering at Urpiana, managing also the APIs, and I've been involved with Transcribathon for quite a while, and working with the integration of the tool with our services.
So, if there is no any other question, we thank you very much for participating. I think it was very pleasant for us to see so many people trying the tool and be in the mini run. You can, if you have time, a little bit, Frank, if we can, maybe it's nice to keep it open until tomorrow, the end of the day, and then we can also publish results and send the thanks to the participants. Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, and have a nice evening.